meteorologists are at a loss to explain what is causing this weather and why it has taken them by surprise.
That sudden drop in temperature as half an hour ago, Mexican officials closed the border in the light of so many U.S. refugees.
Be prepared to go live to Los Angeles.
What you see is happening now.
Look over there behind me! That's a tornado! Yes! A twister!
This is just massive.
So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
At the airport, it was 0.1 degrees just before 7.
I come down to Perth and it's freezing cold, man. I'm sitting there going, oh!
When you think about Australia, you think about warmth, not about cold. It's freezing cold here.
Across Perth, ice scraped from cars.
Check this out. This is the ice on my car today.
Technical glitches grounded dozens of United Airlines flights, shut down the New York Stock Exchange, and crashed the Wall Street Journal's website.
Drove off when the rookie officer went back to his car to ask for help. The officer stopped her again, then got in a scuffle while trying to arrest her. Farrell's son tried to fight the officer. He bashed out the windows of Farrell's van. And now former state police officer shot at Farrell's minivan 3 times as it drove away.
Nobody suggests Mr. Zubin is not qualified. He's highly qualified. Unfortunately, his nomination's been languishing up on the Hill, and we need the Senate to confirm him as soon as possible. Meanwhile, we continue to ramp up our training and support of local forces that are fighting ISIL on the ground. As I've said before, this aspect of our strategy was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
Now those storms got really scary in some places. Heavy rain and heavy winds brought down a massive grain silo near Clovis. News 13 Cheyenne Cope spoke to people there about what they experienced.
Lots of tree loss and pull parts and little quirky things are missing, patio furniture strewn about. It was obviously a very strong storm, very strong wind.
Cleanup began today around Clovis in the wake of last night's powerful storm that brought around 3 inches of rain to the Clovis area, along with violent winds.
And it was what they call a wet microburst had come through the area here. Probably about a mile's worth of homes and properties were affected.
Tree branches ripped apart, a trampoline that was sent flying for more than a mile, and this silo that collapsed onto this truck. One person was sent to the hospital with minor injuries. Gina Davis was not home when the storm hit, but it came back to a huge mess.
A friend called me and said she'd heard it hit the grain elevator and that it looked. She drove down and told me I had a lot of trees down.
And now neighbors are just trying to get it all cleaned up, and they're just glad everyone's okay.
Everybody's good. The animals are fine. We're fine. So
Cheyenne Cope, KRQE News 13.
And it wasn't just the wind. Rain flooded many streets in Greenfield. This tunnel on Arch Street in Greenfield was drained of most of the water when we got there, but you can see fire crews did have it blocked off after this driver's car actually stalled trying to make it out through the flooding. But the best flooding video we received was from a viewer in Greenfield. You can see the water shooting up out of a manhole there. Her backyard, it almost looks like a small lake. Franklin County was definitely hit the hardest here in western Massachusetts.
Police officers and deputies see a lot of strange things, and this call is no exception. A naked man trying to flag down cars in the road, and it was all caught on camera. News 13's Gabrielle Burkhart is here with that video. Gabby?
Dean, body cam video from a deputy in eastern New Mexico shows it all. A naked man in the road on the 4th of July, and that's just the beginning. While some were watching fireworks, this was a Curry County Sheriff's deputy's view 4th of July night.
Get back over here.
Body cam video shows the deputy trying to coax a naked man out of State Road 245 near Clovis. Someone reported a nude man, later identified as 37-year-old Jesus Tarango, roaming the road. Video shows the naked man sitting near the road at one point. Then, as the deputy motions for other cars to pass, Tarango gets up and tries to flag down a car. He stays in the road.
Okay, get back over here. Let's get on the grass, okay?
The man leans on the deputy's car.
Okay, that's my car. No one's in there.
Tarango claims he's been poisoned.
How are you poisoned?
But he doesn't offer an explanation.
Ouch.
Then Tarango makes his move.
Sir! Sir! Hey, get out of there! Hey!
The naked man takes off in the deputy's car.
47 PD, he's stolen my unit. He's taken off eastbound on Llano in my unit, running lights.
The deputy, now stranded on the side of the road, then hears Tarango over his radio.
I need help. This officer didn't want to help me. I'm poisoned. That's why I brought the car.
Deputies say Tarango drove himself to the local hospital. He was taken into custody as he ran for the door. Deputies say Tarango was treated for injuries he received before contact with law enforcement. It's unclear what those injuries are. Investigators say he appeared to be impaired but didn't elaborate. He's facing multiple charges. Back to you.
Turn out to this, the trial is off. A plea deal is expected for the woman involved in a chaotic traffic stop near Taos 2 years ago.
And if the judge okays it, Oriana Farrell will go straight to sentencing. News 13's Catherine Mazzone is in the Newsplex following the latest for us. Catherine?
Well, that's right, Adam. It's hard to forget this shocking dash cam video. A mother behind the wheel of a minivan fleeing from state police with her kids in the car. Oriana Farrell was set to go on trial on Monday, but now it looks like that won't happen. Attorneys say they've reached a plea deal in the case.
And I think we're just waiting for the signed agreement.
I think it's about as close to justice as we can get in a human environment.
Well, this all started on highway outside of Taos in October of 2013. A traffic stop for speeding gone wrong. Farrell decided couldn't decide if she wanted to pay the ticket or fight it in court, and drove off when the rookie officer went back to his car to ask for help. The officer stopped her again, then got in a scuffle while trying to arrest her. Farrell's son tried to fight the officer, who bashed out the windows of Farrell's van. And now former state police officers shot at Farrell's minivan 3 times as it drove away. 5 kids were inside. Farrell was eventually arrested and charged with child abuse, aggravated fleeing, and having a marijuana. Wouldn't discuss details of the plea deal, but the judge said the court would likely accept it. Back to you.
And the officer who fired shots here, Elias Montoya, was fired and now works as a Taos County Sheriff's deputy.
Scheiß die Wand an, das ist geil. Alter. Wow. Alter Scheiße. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Wow.
Good afternoon. More areas of New Mexico are underwater. During this, the rainiest early July the state has seen in years. People in Torrance County say it is the worst flooding they have ever seen. News 13's Haley Rush is live along I-40 in Moriarty with a look. Haley?
Kim, here at the Comfort Inn, managers say the rain has left few spots for guests to even park here. And this isn't even the worst of the flooding.
What we're seeing now is we're so saturated with water that it's starting to destroy roads, and there's nowhere for the water to go.
Roads in Torrance County are washed away. Some have been turned into lakes. Yes, there is a road under this. Sheriff Heath White says some areas are simply unsafe.
We have several bridges out here that overpass arroyos, and they're overflowing. They're going above the bridges about 2 foot.
And it hit the center of town, too. Daniel Senna was surprised to find a new amenity added to her Moriarty hotel this morning.
We do have some ditches in the back that are drainage, but once those filled up, forget it. It just went right in our parking lot.
This lake, as she calls it, is not only the new center of attention outside, but inside too.
We try to make it humorous for them, and then that way they're less, likely to complain about it.
In the past 24 hours, Torrance County was hit with hail and at least an inch of rain. Just a few blocks over from the Comfort Inn, the Best Western in Moriarty also faced flooding problems.
We're cleaning out water. a lot of rain.
Managers say around 200,000 gallons of water had to be pumped from here to make room for the possibility of more floods this week.
In 16 years, we've never had flooding this bad that I've seen in our parking lot. It's actually went almost all the way up to the porte-cochere there.
While the rain may seem like an unwelcome guest, many, including Senna, are choosing to look on the bright side.
We're kind of hoping for a little break, but we need the rain. We really do. So it's good and bad.
Luckily, both here at the Comfort Inn and the Best Western, there was no actual damage to the hotel. Now they're hoping that the rain does calm down so that there's no more damage than just the parking lot here. Kim, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Haley. Now, the Torrance County Sheriff's Office says it has rained so much lately. Places that have never flooded before are underwater now. They say county crews will be out patrolling again tonight in case it gets ugly again.
New at 11, most of us have heard about body cameras for police, but what about for teachers? 22 News reporter Alessandra Martinez found out the idea just became a reality in one school district.
22 News found out tonight what parents and teachers in Western Massachusetts think of the idea of teachers wearing body cameras in the classroom. A day in your child's class, all caught on film.
You're kidding, right? This is a joke. That's unnecessary. It's absurd. Like, this can't possibly really be.
Iowa's Burlington School District now has 15 body cameras they will be using starting in the fall. This comes after accusations were made of an administrator kicking a student. Burlington School District Superintendent Patrick Cohen says body cameras in his district would improve behavior and maintain accountability from both students and teachers. So we asked teachers from Western Massachusetts how body cameras here could affect the dynamic of the classroom.
If they're going to spend the money on something, it should be on resources that the students can use directly, not something that's just kind of going to make them feel a little bit awkward.
I can't imagine
being a teacher, filming students and expecting them to be honest with me and forming an educational relationship where we'll learn together.
Burlington's body cameras cost about $85 each. They are small and can clip onto shirts, ties, or pockets. The district is still trying to figure out the procedure for wearing the cameras and reviewing the footage.
If things are taken out of context, that I could see where that might become an issue, but as long as it's used properly, you know, I don't see it being an issue.
Chicopee High School teachers told 22 News their biggest concern is establishing trust when students are on camera. And Burlington police officers say that these body cameras have been useful in their investigations. Live in Chicopee tonight, Alessandra Martinez, 22 News.
Incredible high-resolution satellite imagery here of a monster storm that is hitting southern Japan as we speak. That's Typhoon Chanham, already cranking up humongous waves. Look at the size of those things. That's in Okinawa, and Okinawa is going to take a pretty bad hit from this storm. We've already had a couple wind gusts over 80 miles an hour there. Now, if you're not familiar, southern Japan, you look at those small islands down there. That's all part of Okinawa Prefecture, so that's a part of Japan. Of course, you've got the city of Okinawa as well, which is also going to take a pretty bad hit. Now, after it hits Japan, we've got to turn our attention to eastern China. Still going to be a very formidable storm. Big cities in play. Look at Shanghai, okay? That's going to be a storm that will have some very bad impacts.
If you struggled to get out of bed this morning, you weren't alone. Perth shivered through its coldest morning in 3 years, the temperature dipping to almost freezing across the city and even colder in some parts.
Almost freezing in Perth, the coldest morning we've had in 3 years. Some hitting the waters at Metham's Pool even before the sun came up.
What's it like in the water?
When you get out, it gets a bit cold.
At the airport, it was 0.1 degrees just before 7.
I come down to Perth and it's freezing cold, man. I'm in there going, oh!
When you think about Australia, you think about warmth, not about cold. It's freezing cold here.
Across Perth, ice scraped from cars.
Check this out. This is the ice on my car today.
Windscreens caked. At Ascot, horses on the track barely visible in the morning mist as residents at Perth Zoo tried to keep warm. It's the coldest morning we've seen in Perth since the 25th of July 2012 when it dipped down to 0.4 degrees. The Weather Bureau says it's a result of clear skies as well as cold, dry southerly winds. Perth was at its coldest at 4 minutes past 7, dwelling up minus 1.2. Jandakot a touch cooler. Collie shivered through minus 2.4, wandering the coldest at minus 3 degrees.
The apparent temperature, which is what your skin feels like, was down to 0 and in some places below 0.
Electricity demand peaked just before 8:30 at 3,050 megawatts. That's enough to power 1.5 million heaters. It brings a timely reminder about staying warm. Already this year, fireys have turned out to 400 house fires, most caused by carelessness around heating, cooking or electrical equipment.
Danger that you put things too close to it, you knock them over, you can burn your house down.
The Weather Bureau says we've got more cool weather ahead. It's unlikely to be colder than today.
Looks like snow.
Scott Cunningham, 9 News.
No, vai là! È enorme! Ollie!
Dite due preghiere, sono appena volati via i tetti delle case di Lazzarin, delle baracche. Sta andando in là.
Filmando, Dio! Papi!
Tira dentro, para che coglioni!
No, papi, sei fermo. Ripara qua dentro.
I gamberi voglio andare piano.
Risponde alla segreteria telefonica di 3, 4, 8, 7, 9, 5, 9, 9, 9. Dopo il segnale audio.
Failure affecting 3 major U.S. organizations on Wednesday was not a coordinated cyber attack. That is what officials and security experts say this morning after a string of problems affecting millions of people. Technical glitches grounded dozens of United Airlines flights, shut down the New York Stock Exchange, and crashed the Wall Street Journal's website. Jeff Glor is at the stock exchange where investors hope the Dow will bounce back from a 261-point loss. Jeff, good morning.
Vanita, good morning to you. Wednesday was already shaping up to be a rough day here with the debt crisis in Greece and a market mess in China. But then this glitch happened and trading ground to a halt.
Officials suspended all trading at 11:32 a.m. And for nearly 4 hours, the normally raucous floor of the New York Stock Exchange was quiet. Some 700,000 orders in the system had to be canceled as they worked to fix a technical issue.
They decided the best thing to do to protect people is to shut the market down.
President Obama was briefed by members of his national security team.
At this point, there is no indication that malicious actors are involved in these technology issues.
The troubles at the stock exchange surfaced just hours after United Airlines experienced what they called a network connectivity issue.
We have a major situation with United Airlines.
At 8 a.m., the airline had grounded all of its flights after a faulty router knocked out many of its computer systems. The Washington Post reports the outage, lasting nearly 2 hours, affected 4,900 aircraft and about 400,000 frustrated passengers.
They send us over here, and now this is telling us to go back to the computer check-in. So we're just running around here in circles.
Then, around noon, the Wall Street Journal's homepage crashed. Visitors were redirected to a temporary page until the normal website was restored.
So we had 3 so-called coincidences today. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe a coincidence is an event that we don't have an explanation for.
We do not see any indication of a cyber breach or cyber attack. I actually think the Wall Street Journal piece is connected to people flooding their website in response to the New York Stock Exchange.
Most people on Wall Street took the disruptions in stride. Few gave credence to the conspiracy theories that hackers were behind the mess.
It's an embarrassment for the institution, which is a shame, but things break and they fixed it and things will break again.
Another computer snafu grounded United flights last month as well. While this floor was closed down, trading did continue on other exchanges. Both companies say they are not the victim of a cyber attack. And Nora, right now we are looking at a slightly higher opening this morning.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much.
An Ohio judge says he'll ask his state Supreme Court if he can skip performing same-sex marriages. Toledo Municipal Court Judge C. Alan McConnell issued a statement citing personal and religious beliefs after he declined to perform a gay marriage this week.
And we knew then something was up, and that's when we were told that the judge didn't do these types of marriages.
McConnell's decision delayed Carolyn Wilson's wedding.
It's kind of surreal. You know, I grew up never thinking that would happen to me, and then it's about to happen, and then it wasn't going to happen, and then it happened.
Another judge was brought in to perform Wilson's wedding.
There was a moment where we were able to put it aside and enjoy our ceremony. It was afterwards that I think it was like, wow, that really put a damper on it.
Judge McConnell's statement apologized for the delay. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could get your attention.
More than 12 hours after passionate and oftentimes contentious debate.
It isn't part of our future. It's part of our past.
Removing this flag from out front is not going to do anything to change this nation.
Members of the South Carolina State House overwhelmingly approving a bill to remove the Confederate flag from the Capitol grounds. This just weeks after 9 black church members, including state senator and pastor Clementa Pinckney, were gunned down by a white supremacist at a Bible study in a Charleston church. A group of lawmakers mounting opposition to the flag's removal, proposing dozens of amendments in an attempt to blunt the momentum of the debate. Beaten back by a group of bipartisan legislators, tempers fraying into the night, an impassioned plea from Republican Representative Jenny Horn to fellow members of her party.
I cannot believe that we do not have the heart in this body to do something meaningful, such as take a symbol of hate off these grounds on Friday. And if any of you vote to amend, you are ensuring that this flag will fly beyond Friday. And for the widow of Senator Pinckney and his 2 young daughters, that would be adding insult to injury. And I will not be a part of it.
A black flag draped over Pinckney's chair as debate came to head. The final vote overwhelmingly in favor of the flag's removal. The move to take down the controversial banner, a stunning reversal in a state that was the site of the first shots in the Civil War and has flown at the State House for half a century. The bill now headed to the desk of South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who praised lawmakers. It is a new day in South Carolina, a day we can all be proud of, a day that truly brings us all together as we continue to heal as one people and one state.